What's going on, Movie Maniacs? I'm Matt.
And I'm Zach.
And this is the previews, everyone's favorite part of the movie. Obviously, Avengers came out last weekend, and now it is our spoiler-filled review. So if you haven't seen the movie, we thought we'd give you the weekend to go check it out. If you haven't, highly suggest seeing the movie and then coming back. Avengers Endgame. We've been anticipating it for a year now.
Well, 11 years has been leading up to this movie.
Yeah,
the
that's
first
true.
Iron Man 11 years ago.
It has been. It's been teed up for us. Of course, Robert Downey Jr.'s in it, Chris Evans in it, Mark Ruffalo, Chris Hemsworth, the whole
Johansson,
nine.
yeah.
Exactly, the whole nine, and then the Russo brothers come back to direct it. Now, we're going to start up with this, okay? Did you feel that the time travel aspect of this movie was a little cheap, or what did you think about it?
I was okay with it. I couldn't really think of any other way that they could bring all these people back.
With me, I knew something was going to happen in the quantum realm because I was one of the few people that actually went and saw Ant-Man and the Wasp and actually liked it.
That's the one Marvel movie in this MCU that I have not checked out yet.
Well, that was a big one that you missed because the end credit scene has him going to the quantum realm, and I knew somehow, some way it was going to involve that, how they were going to get everybody back. Mm-hmm. So I liked how they tied that in because we knew they had to go back in time some way, somehow. And obviously...
Did you feel that they were going to do that after seeing Ant-Man and the Wasp?
Absolutely, 100%.
Okay.
It wasn't... It might have been a surprise to some people, but for me, I was very confident. Like, if you were to tell me, hey, put all your life savings on the line, what do you think is going to happen? I was going to say they were going to go into the quantum realm and find a time lapse to get in there. Okay. I'm into weird, dimension stuff like that, like the actual science behind it, so I kind of knew that was the route they were going to go. And I like how they had a lot of callbacks to Back to the Future. However, they didn't steal the storyline to Back to the Future, because I liked the twist, but there's a lot of complaints that I'm sure are going to come about it, where if you alter the past, it doesn't actually change the future like in the actual book, The Time Machine. So I thought that was very interesting because typically you don't see that in films.
I loved how this movie started off, literally like the first 10 minutes of just chopping off Thanos' head.
Yeah.
I thought that was great.
It was shocking.
Yeah.
I was like, damn!
the entire theater erupted. Like, hell yeah!
Exactly. One person actually was like, well, 3 hours is over, guys. I didn't think it was going to go this quick.
Yeah.
And it was, it was very interesting how they actually went and did that. And even same thing, I love that scene with Hawkeye in the beginning because we're all like, where was he in Infinity War? No. Now we have our answer.
That really reeled me in. Just that scene. Just seeing, his daughter just turn into ash.
In the first initial, because in the trailers they did show Captain America and Tony Stark getting like back together and being like, oh buddy, but it got really dark where he was just like, you said we were gonna lose, but like this is your fault.
Yeah.
I'm like, damn, they really played it up like, hey, they still don't like each other, and the effects of Civil War are still playing up to them.
No, I did like that a lot.
Yeah, I liked that too. But going back to how they actually go into the future and the past, I liked how there's this big time block 5 years later that they still didn't figure out where the Infinity Stones were and what was going to happen. I thought that was an interesting twist too. What I liked about this movie, and I really liked it, and I liked how fast-paced Infinity War was, but I liked how slow this one was.
Very slow, and because it needed to.
It was a slow burn.
Yeah, but this is where I'm going to get into probably one of my biggest gripes from this movie is there was way too much comedy in this movie for me.
I didn't think so. I thought
I want to say every 5 minutes there was a funny line said after, we can even say the Tony Stark and Captain America scene. There was all that tension of just still, them still hating each other and still saying, you did this. This is not my fault. And then there's Hulk walking in. Oh, there's Hulk-sized t-shirts now for me. Just immediately after. And I'm just like...
Yeah, but the scene was over. The scene was over. It wasn't like he was cutting the tension and being like, hey, guys, guess what?
But that was just one example. I'm just saying, no, there was a lot of tension-breaking moments throughout the movie because they just kept just putting all these jokes down your throat.
I didn't feel that way whatsoever. Zach is cuckoo right now.
No, there were definitely jokes that worked, but I'm not saying every 5 minutes there was a joke.
There wasn't jokes every 5 minutes.
There
You are
was.
so asinine right now.
I'm
You are
not.
so loopy.
No,
that 3-hour movie really hit you hard, huh?
No, and I will say it did not feel like a 3-hour movie, so that's definitely a good thing.
Yeah, it definitely didn't.
There was just so many tense moments that just kept getting broke from the comedy aspect of this movie. And that was and I wanted to be fully invested, but I just kept getting taken back out again from the comedy.
See, I didn't feel that way. I felt like with Infinity War, there were a couple jokes that fell flat for me, especially more so on the Guardians side of things. Mm-hmm. I feel like, especially Guardians of the Galaxy 2, some of the jokes were pretty lame duck.
They were really bad.
Yeah, but this movie, I thought all of them hit when they needed to hit. I didn't feel really any issue with them going to comedy because that's their comfort zone. Like, these movies are supposed to be fun, and I felt the dark moments were dark and the fun moments were fun.
No, because the dark moments had the comedy still sprinkled in there.
Yeah, I guess to each their own. So Ant-Man comes back and he goes, hey, listen, we need to go ahead and figure out this quantum realm, because while I've been away for 5 years, I've literally only been in there for 5 hours for what I feel. Mm-hmm. So what we got to do is figure out how to use the quantum realm to get back to the past. Mm-hmm. So he tells Captain America. Captain America's like, oh, that sounds like a great idea. Let's go talk to someone about it. Of course, it was Tony Stark. And this is 5 years after their initial conflict. We're like, dude, you screwed us. And then we find out that Tony Stark, of course, can figure out time travel with the quantum realm. Mm-hmm. And that's when really things start kicking back into gear. And they get everyone together that's still alive.
Including Captain Marvel.
Yeah. And they go back to the past, except Captain Marvel didn't go with them. Mm-hmm. But they go back to the past, and that's what I really liked about it, because I was like, okay, I know there's going to be time travel. Are they going to go to, I would say, Back to the Future 2 and, just go to all the callbacks and stuff? And they did, and I dug it. Yeah. I dug it.
It was such a great callback just from this entire MCU, was just seeing all the original movie sets coming back. It really brought me back, and you guys know that I'm not a superhero fan, but I can just only imagine you guys who are hardcore just loving every second of
exactly
going back.
Seeing them go back to the battle in New York City and the first Avengers, seeing them being assembled, and then seeing Captain America, Ant-Man, Hulk, and Iron Man just going back there and just looking like all old and like dweebish. Yeah. I thought that was really funny too. I liked those callbacks and seeing, I guess the hidden gems of it, where Hulk was. I love that part where he was just beating the crap out of that one guy he already smashed to the car. Yeah. Just kept standing on there.
Because that's always something he would do at that time.
Oh, totally. If there was one thing for me to nitpick, and again, you already know I gave this film 5 out of 5. It is, in my opinion, the perfect comic book movie. The one thing that I liked in Infinity War a lot more than I liked in Endgame was Rocket and Thor's chemistry. Mm-hmm. I thought it was a little lackluster here.
It was definitely lackluster.
But the Thor stuff was funny. Like, where he's fat, drunk. Yeah. That was funny. But I thought
loved the Big Lebowski joke.
Oh, yeah.
Tony Stark said
exactly.
I was thinking the exact same thing in the theater.
No, it was so funny.
This is, even though I gave it 4, this was the perfect end to this whole story, this whole universe.
The whole ending.
I thought it was perfect.
Exactly.
Just doing just all the throwbacks, just all the nostalgia. Again, 11 years in the making, and still bringing everybody back to those moments. And you get a very satisfying and powerful ending.
Conclusion, yeah, because I want to say probably, 2 hours and 15 minutes of this movie are actually them building up, and then the last, I would say 45 minutes are the battle, the huge battle between Thanos and his crew.
Which was definitely the best part. I mean, the best part, I'm sure, is probably for a lot of you as well, is just when that portal opens with Black Panther and he walks through, and then just everybody else walks through doing the chants, and then as soon as Captain America said Avengers Assemble,
chills. The whole theater went nuts. It was like, it felt like the entire theater was part of the armies with them. Like, right when he said Avengers Assemble, everyone's like, yeah! Like, I almost got on my seat and started punching people. Like, I was ready to rock, you know? But even when they get all the stones together, I thought the side story with Nebula was very interesting. Like, how she was the only one that could kind of telepathically communicate to her.
I liked that too, because... yeah, again, they're going back in time, and there's no way for Thanos to know this, in the past.
Exactly.
But
it didn't feel cheap.
Yeah, it did not feel cheap at all.
Yeah.
That was a way to bring him back at full force.
I know. So,
for him actually being prepared for this fight and bringing his whole army.
I know. And then after they're like, hey, I think we did it. I think we brought people back. And then Thanos' ship just starts blowing up the Avengers building. I'm like, oh, God.
Yeah.
Here it comes. All my favorite superheroes are going to die. Like, I don't want this at all. Thor, Captain America, and Iron Man find each other. They see Thanos just sitting there waiting for Gamora to bring him the Infinity Gauntlet that they made with Iron Man's armor. And then they're just like, let's beat this guy's ass. Let's just go into it. And that part... awesome. So I was so scared for everyone going to die because we thought at the beginning that Captain America and Iron Man were going to die. Maybe Thor.
Nah, I did not think Thor, but I thought Hawkeye might have died. But yeah, I definitely had a strong feeling for Iron Man especially. So I'm sure probably some of you are curious to hear our thoughts on Tony Stark dying.
But before we get to that, let's talk about the first major death in this film. Black Widow. I did not see that coming whatsoever.
Nope, I did not.
Did not see that coming whatsoever. I thought she was going to be into it from the beginning. She died halfway through the movie, and my jaw was like, it was like when Gamora died. I was like, is this real? Like, I know she's probably coming back, but I was like, there's a Black Widow movie coming out in like a couple of years. It's going to be Marvel's first rated R film. I was like, oh man, they're doing this. Caught me off guard.
Definitely. Yeah, because just when Hawkeye was jumping up, I'm like, oh, there it is. There he's gonna got nope, and then just dives up, puts that grappling hook on him, and she got it.
I was like, damn, that's pretty crazy. But going on to Tony Stark's death.
Tony Stark's death. Like, again, I did see it coming. It was sad.
It was still sad.
It was definitely sad. Again, I would say probably the first Iron Man is my favorite out of the entire MCU movies. So yeah, it was sad because again, there was that started this whole thing. But I knew Robert Downey Jr. wanted to move on from this role, so that was a good way to do it.
Now, if he wants to come back, I'm sure there's a way for them to go ahead and figure out, like, for him to come back, because it's science fiction. You could always go ahead and do that. But I felt it was a fitting end for Tony Stark. I would have preferred if he actually, like, kicked Thanos' ass, because he really didn't, with the Infinity Gauntlet, and then do something after the fact. But yeah,
it would have definitely been nice to see like
Thanos get his, But it was satisfying. We're not saying that it wasn't satisfying, but I mean Thanos. Really, the toughest struggle he had was when all three of them were fighting him. The Captain America started going off, and then also Captain America picking up the hammer of Thor. Oh man, it was nuts because I was like, dude, Thor's gonna die now, and then he came out of nowhere, and then I'm like, Captain America's gonna die now, and then Iron Man's gonna die now, and it just like it continued to happen and happen and happen. But it was a fitting conclusion. We snapped the fingers. He was heroic. Doctor Strange, again, kept telling him like, we need to keep you alive for what needs to happen.
And then one chance.
Exactly. And that's when he turned and he saw Doctor Strange and he goes, one. And I'm like, no, Tony, don't die. Yeah, but I mean, everyone really got their due. All the original Avengers got their due, which I was very glad that, the Infinity Snap, like, got rid of, like, the people that were added on it. But I thought it was a fitting end. I also loved how they ended Captain America's story.
They killed him without killing him.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I liked that.
I liked it, too.
Because I was talking with one of my buddies on before we started filming, and he said that Captain America was the original one to die in the comics.
Yeah, well, in Civil War, he was supposed to die.
Oh, okay. It was in Civil War. Okay.
Yeah, Civil War is where everything kind of sparks, right? Civil War he was supposed to die in that one.
So, yeah, again, no, I couldn't imagine, especially this younger crowd going to see this movie, not only losing Tony Stark, but Captain America. I could kind of see Disney taking the slight safer route.
Oh no, they
Killing
definitely
him without killing him.
exactly. They took the safer route, and he finally got that first dance with Peggy, which we've been waiting for 9 years. 9 years. He finally got his first dance with Peggy. I liked the last shot at Tony Stark's funeral where they slowly panned to all the people that are going to be taking over the throne, if you will. They show the Guardians.
I like that little kid from in my opinion, the worst Marvel movie from the MCU, which is Iron Man 3, but I did like seeing
him in there. And then, of course, Captain Marvel was up at the top, standing by herself, like signifying, like, oh, she's the lead lady, which it didn't bother me as much as I thought it was going to be, because I was like, dude, if Captain Marvel just comes in here and just wrecks havoc, I'm going to be pissed, because we've been invested in this for 11 years. Not saying that we disliked Captain Marvel, because we actually liked her as a character. I was going to be pissed as like, hey, you know what? I've only known this person for really, a month? Yeah, really a month. I've only known this person for a month, and she's just going to come here and kick everyone's ass. Like, no, I didn't want that. But now, one thing that I was sad about the movie, I really wish they would have done it. I really wish they would have put Deadpool in it.
That would have been awesome.
So I was really hoping Deadpool was going to come in. One of the characters turns around like, who are you? And he's like, oh, my boss bought your boss or something, you know? So
that would have been great.
That would be cool. Like a little, jab. He didn't have to do much, but he could add like funny, cool moments. But I mean, it is what it is. This is a comic books lovers movie. It's going to make $1 bajillion at the box office. I hope it takes over Avatar. I hope it takes over Titanic. I don't think it's going to take over Avatar. Maybe Titanic, but I don't think it's going to. You never know. Rumor is this is supposed to break $1 billion, but we'll know on Monday if it broke $1 billion.
In a weekend?
In a weekend, yeah. Because it opens up worldwide this weekend.
Okay.
So I really enjoyed it. Like I said, I gave it 5 out of 5.
Yep, 4 out of 5 from me.
Well, thank you so much, Movie Maniacs, checking us out.
Yep, and be sure to check us out next week when we're going to be checking out Long Shot.
Yep.
And we'll see you then.